You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Welcome to the show. We've got none other than a special guest on the line, and that is Richey Plemons with Plemons Lawn and Landscape. What's up, Richey? How we doing, brother?
Oh, doing great, Brian. I'm soaking wet right now. You know, I've been out here working. I'm into my 13th hour, and we just got rained on, so we're trying to finish up the work for the day in the rain.
That's always fun. We were just talking before we hit the record button because I was just catching up a couple notes, and I said, how's things been down there? And you're like, dude, we're getting rain every single day. And I said, can you send us some of that up here? Because we haven't got rain for 3 weeks, Richey. I mean, not a drop. And
hey, I'll bottle it up and send it to you if you'd like. It's excruciatingly hot here, but then we get those thunderstorms throughout the day, and then the sun comes back out.
Sure.
And then your skin kind of just melts away.
Oh, my God. That's awesome, dude. I mean, we're in the same boat, man. It's 93, 94 temperature, and I'm sure it's in the same boat there. But then, dude, it's like the real feels with the humidity. And now we don't have that like southern humidity, like Carolinas and Georgia, but I will say it's still 99-degree real feels, and by 2 o'clock, heck, by 11 o'clock, you're done. You know what I'm saying? So I can totally relate.
Anything above 90 is miserable.
Heck, anything about 78 and a long sleeve is miserable for me, bro. I'm a long sleeve shirt and flip flops and shorts kind of guy, man. I like that lake life, So anything.
I hear you.
Well, we're going to get into your story. We've been trying to line this up for a few months, and then the COVID and stuff happened, so everybody's schedule got flipped upside down, and then the season started for you guys, kind of right out of the gate, and then we had a lot of work to do. So anyway, it's exciting to finally lock you down to get you on the show. It's always cool having other guys on the podcast to tell their story, and we're going to talk some social media, some YouTube stuff as well, because you're a really known guy out there with a lot of different brands, frankly, that I don't use, that you guys use for your business and in the South. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then use like different software, LMN, which is cool. So I said, hey, I want to ask you a couple different things. Our business model is similar, but the equipment's different, your background's different, the software you use is different. So it's going to be some different things that we can score up on and just share your story, which is really, really cool. So before we jump into it, why don't you just take maybe 60 seconds and get these guys up to speed if they don't know who Richey Plemons is.
Okay, yeah, man. My name is, of course, Richey Plemons. I own Plemons Lawn and Landscape out of Chatsworth, Georgia. If you've never heard of it, don't feel bad. Nobody else has either. Brian was like, Chatsworth?
I'm like, how far from Atlanta?
California.
Yeah.
We're an hour and a half north of Atlanta. There you go.
Okay, fair enough.
The best way to say it is 30 minutes south of Chattanooga, Tennessee, an hour and a half northeast of Atlanta. So that's the best way to really give you an idea where I'm at.
I'm sure that helps everybody, Richey. I'm sure that helps everybody.
Yeah, they're going, we're going to pull a map out right now. Let's see where this guy's at,
Oh, my God. Keep going, bro.
I've been in business since 2014. In 2014, I was kind of part-time.
Okay.
And then I went full-time a year later, and it's just kind of grown. I didn't expect it to get this big. I didn't expect to really, I guess you would say, that I'm making a living out of it.
Sure.
I expected to do something different. And I enjoy it, and it's hard work. It's hot work. There's days where you just want to hit yourself in the head with a hammer and go, why did I ever do this? And then there's days that you're going, man, I'm so happy I do this.
Oh, for sure.
It's a blast, and you cry, you sweat, you bleed, you laugh, and then social media just takes off, and you get to meet all these people like Brian and other people in the community, and
sure.
And you all get to come together and enjoy one another and share stories of how we became what we are now. So. I'm.
How big's your business? Like, how many customers, or do you got guys working for you too? I know everybody's different, so
it's kind of crazy because I used to at one time be over 100 customers.
Okay,
and we have trimmed it down to 25 customers, and
wow.
People are like, "What? 25?"
Right?
I'm like, 25, and it's Monday through Friday, all you want.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're making all those YouTube millions, right?
Right? Yeah. Hey, man, I've already got the Lambo on order. I'm just waiting on to cash the check.
Man, you and I talked, man. A lot of YouTube guys, we talk behind the scenes. I'm like, if y'all really knew, I mean, you can make a couple bucks, you cover gas money, and I make a couple bucks, but come on, like I'm still out there 60 hours a week, like you guys, cutting grass and making that cash, right? So,
I'm not getting rich. I'm definitely not getting rich off YouTube.
No, which is funny. So, well, let's do this. We got, like I said, a lot to unpackage. It's funny, my southern people listening to the show, this one's for you because you can finally listen to somebody who talks at the same frequency and wavelength as you guys, because in the South you guys are like so nice and you talk slow, and then up north, man, like you hear Paul Jameson, you hear me, it's like, man, we sound like Twista, rapping a song, you know what I mean? But that's just how you talk in the North, and everybody thinks that I'm like the sales guy and Mr. Motivation, but I'm like, man, I'm just from the North, bro. This is how we talk. And all my Southern people, sometimes they'll shoot me messages, Richie. They're like, hey, great episode, but can you slow down? I can only hear it 60 words a minute, and I'm like, right. So Richie is my alter ego. He's calm, he's nice, he's super professional and cordial. And up here in the North, man, and Midwest, we'll just run you off the road. That's how we do it. So, but anyway, let's do this. We're gonna change it up. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors, which is GIE Plus Expo. Super excited to have those guys supporting the show. And then we're going to come right back and hear it from Richie's story.
Hey, lawn and landscape pros.
I'm talking to you.
Don't let your edge go dull.
Your competitive edge.
Sharpen your edge at the GIE Plus Expo this October 21st through the 23rd in Louisville, Kentucky.
Understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Innovative products, latest technology. Talk face-to-face with engineers that design your favorite equipment. Then step outside and dive into the hands-on demo area, where you can drive, dig, and compare equipment to your heart's delight.
Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong.
This year, the wow gets even bigger with the new UTV test track, the hands-on drone zone, and free parking. Register now at GIE-expo.com, and we'll see you in Louisville, Kentucky this October.
Awesome. Well, always excited to have GIE Plus Expo sponsor the show and have those guys just backing up what we do. Hey, if you guys want to save 50% off your registration, you can use promo code VIP Brian, or it should also be Brian, or click the link in the show notes and it'll take you guys right to the website where you get 50% off, which is super exciting. And we cannot wait to see you guys there this October. Richie, you going to GIE this year, brother, or what's your scoop?
Oh, you know it. I'll be there. I can't miss GIE.
There you go, man. Yeah, tons of food, tons of chicken wings, barbecue, and bourbon. If you're into the bourbon thing, that's what they're known for, right?
and you can't miss 4th Street Live.
4th Street Live it's a good time. I mean, who did they have last year? It was I don't know, man. It was like a country festival, man.
I know this year's Granger Smith. So being from the South, everybody in the South knows who Granger Smith is.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea who Granger Smith is. So, but
you're going to have to YouTube. You're going to YouTube him tonight.
I am, man. I'm going to go check him out, and they're pulling the big names. I mean, the only country person I know is like Kid Rock Cowboy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kidding. It's so funny. I'm the whitest person you've ever met, and everything I listen to is rap. So go figure.
A country star did pass today. We did lose Charlie Daniels.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's not cool. Yeah. That's a solemn note. No. Thanks for adding that into the podcast. That's unfortunate.
Edit that part out.
Is he a super famous dude though? Obviously, I don't know country music, but big famous guy, obviously.
Heard the song "Devil Went Down to Georgia"?
Oh yeah, that guy. Wow.
There you go. That's him.
Oh my God, no way. That's super unfortunate. Well, rest in peace, brother. I mean, I just saw a Facebook video the other day of like a washing machine going around, and some guy was playing a guitar to that song. The stuff you see on the internet, bro. But oh my God, that's unfortunate. Well, hopefully it'll be a lighter note. I mean, thankfully he's not headlining the GIE because they have to find somebody else. Yeah. But exactly. But anyway, so okay. Well, as we go into this awesome story about Richey Plemons, bringing up just a hard block there. So you
never know what you're gonna get from the guy from the South.
Man, this is unfiltered, brother. So I mean, this is unreal. All right, so let's go into your story, man. Let's take it way back, because 2014. Well, you didn't just get started doing lawn care landscaping. In fact, I was trying to catch up on your story because, again, I say this like I love these stories because I get to hear hear like, everything that your background, like how did you fall into this? Did you jump into lawn and landscaping? And you kind of like know people's like kind of like some of their talking points, on YouTube, if you watch their videos, like people know that I used to work at Little Caesars and then I used to work at True Green. And then, at 20, I started my lawn business, right? So did you just start right at lawn and landscaping, or did you have a background, I think, in corporate America and doing some safety coordination, right? Or what's your whole story? And I know you're also in the Marine Corps, right? So.
Correct. I was in the Marine Corps. I was with 1st Battalion, 6th Marines out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
All right.
I went in 2001, and it was actually before September the 11th. I went in the Marine Corps, and then the whole the September 11th, 2001, the Trade Center, that happened.
Yeah.
I was actually on a plane the day that happened.
Wow.
I was on a flight. I was actually between Wilmington, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. We had been in the air about 25 minutes when the first information started coming through to the planes that they needed to get on the ground. And, it was kind of a worrisome moment. And it was scary. I mean, I ain't going to lie. I mean, I was a little PFC in the Marine Corps, as we like to call it. I was still kind of boot and green behind the ears. And I was like, ooh, wow. Ooh, that's not good, And, and so we landed, and I was on my way to the School of Infantry at the time.
Okay.
And we landed. Some news reporters actually come out, and they run up to us, and they were like, so what do you think? Who do you think could have done this? What do you think America's going to do? And they were standing in the airport trying to interview me, a private first class in the Marine Corps. That I'm like, ma'am, I'm a PFC in the Marine Corps. I don't know nothing.
I ain't saying nothing.
They don't tell me nothing. They don't tell me anything.
Wow.
They don't tell me we're leaving until we're on the plane going somewhere.
Wow.
Okay, so I have no clue. So I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. I was in the infantry, done 6 years. I got out in September of 2007, and I decided I was going to use my GI Bill. A lot of people in the military know what the Montgomery GI Bill is, or the post 9/11 bill is. We pay in a little bit when we first go in, and then after that, the government is going to pay you to go to school. They're going to take care of your college. That's what a lot of people go into the military for. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't use it, and it's something there that can help you in your career. It's like, go to school, learn something. Now, I'm not saying go get a degree in underwater basket weaving, but get something you can use.
Right.
And so I decided I was going to go to school for occupational health and safety.
Okay.
Was the job that I wanted. And
is that like OSHA? Is that like the OSHA stuff? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a lot of OSHA stuff. Is exactly what it is. It's OSHA.
Okay.
And so when I do something boneheaded, I just go, and I've got a degree how not to do this way.
Well, my favorite is the OSHA Is This Okay Instagram profile. We've all seen it. It's I mean, I've heard they use that Instagram page to like give presentations to all the different OSHA trainings. I'm sure.
The
good content there.
Do.
That's awesome.
So I actually took a job working for a large landscaping company while I was going to school, and I worked there for about 6 months. Late into the winter, it got slow. They decided they were going to lay us off for winter time, and the owner of the company was like, "Hey, if you go get your CDL, we'll give you a pay raise, and you can drive the truck and pull some of the heavy equipment around." I was like, "Okay, well, another little feather in my cap. Let's go for it." I mean, training and learning new stuff can't hurt us, so why not?
Sure.
And so I went and got a CDL, and I kept going to school. Time to come back to work. The owner of the company is like, "Hey, we're gonna have to give you a pay cut. Sorry, I know we told you we'd give you a raise, but we're gonna cut your pay down to $8.50 an hour."
What?
And I was like, "I got a CDL, man."
Yeah.
You're gonna cut me to $8.50? And so I said, "Forget that. I'm going to finish school, and while I'm in school, I'm going to go be a truck driver."
Okay.
And so that's what I did until I could get my safety degree. Once I got it, I went to work for a trucking company as in the safety department, and I worked my way up until I became the director of safety and compliance for a trucking company out of Dalton, Georgia.
Okay.
And so I was an office guy then, and so my job basically was to ensure that the company stayed compliant with all DOT and federal motor carrier regulations, and I did that for about a year and a half. And I learned real quick this was not the life for me, sitting in an office. I couldn't stand it. I hated it, and I was like, And I'm sitting there thinking all that wasted money that I used from the GI Bill to go to college. I was like, I hated it. I just couldn't stand it. I felt like a glorified babysitter.
Did you ever like drive like a DOT truck, or were you just part of this trucking company? So what did you do with like day to day?
I drove.
Okay.
Now, as a safety director, I no longer drove anymore. I was in the office at that point. But from 2008 till 2013, I drove over the road.
Wow.
And I done heavy equipment. I done a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of flatbed.
Mm-hmm.
My main cargo that I hauled was actually aircraft aluminum for Boeing aircraft.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
I would pull it out of Canton, Georgia, and I would make a few stops across the country, delivering to places that done like different components for aircraft. And my final stop was always in Seattle, Washington at Boeing aircraft.
Wow.
And so I would kick off a bunch of aluminum there, get a load coming back home, and take about 4 or 5 days to get back home.
No kidding. Did you like sleep in the cab and do the whole deal like we see on the road?
Yeah, slept in the truck.
Wow.
Yeah, had to sleep in the truck, and it's a lot of long days. I mean, you're working 14 hours, legally 14 hours.
Yep.
Usually turned into 15 or 16 every day.
Sure.
But
wow.
You work some long hours.
So,
and
so how did you get transferred into the office? Like, did you is it a promotion, or were you just tired of driving, and how did that transition?
Basically, how it worked was once I got my degree in occupational health and safety, I'd been in the trucking industry for a while, and then I just started looking for jobs that were open for safety directors or safety workers, in different companies. And I found a local company that was in need of someone in safety. That they were struggling mightily with the DOT was breathing down their neck. They were, they were in violation a lot, and they just needed somebody that could come in and get it straightened out.
Okay.
And so I went to work for them. I'd done it for a couple of years, and about a year and a half. And I, like I said, I hated it. I hated being in an office. I was so used to being in a truck and being in the military and being active in sports growing up that I just wasn't an inside person. I learned it real quick that it just wasn't going to work for me. So
right, you didn't like all
company I worked for,
the reprocessed air conditioning and the office lights and TPS reports.
I guess you would say, yeah. So we're gonna have to have you work this Saturday.
Yeah. Peter, I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday. So that's funny right there.
And just spent the day looking for my swing line.
Oh yeah, right. Oh my God, some of you have no idea what we're talking about, but those are all the millennials, right? So all the youngers,
right? Correct.
So as we're going through this, it's just cool. Like I don't know if you guys listening, and I'm probably listening to this too on my lawnmower, just catching up because sometimes when you do a podcast, you talk for an hour and then I get over with it and I'm like, man, what did we even talk about? I can't wait to listen to it. So, but it's always cool hearing people's stories that and you were joking before we hit the record button, like everybody, well not everybody, but a lot of people are like, look at these YouTubers, man, they don't even work. And we were trying to lock this down tonight because I said, dude, it's got to be like now because, the rest of this week is getting busy. And you're like, yeah, dude, I'm doing like a 13-hour day today. And how about 7 o'clock? And I'm like, cool. Because I was running around all day today too and a lot of errands to run. And but you're still working, bro. Like we all run a lawn and landscape company. So it's always cool to like hear people's stories. What do they do? How do they get started in the industry? Because it's always different. And so, okay, so now you're doing this office thing, right? If you want to just take it away and continue on the timeline, when did you decide to go into business for yourself?
So 2014, I went out and I bought a mower, a trailer, and hooked it up to my truck and weed eater and a blower, and I went home after work one day. And I pulled in, and my wife was like, "What is that?"
Oh my God!
It's a mower, weed eater, blower, and a trailer. She goes, "What are you going to do with it? Why do you need all that?" And I was like, she's like, "You got a mower out in the building, And I was like,
"Oh boy,
I quit my job today." And she goes, "You did what?"
Oh boy.
And I go, I couldn't take it anymore. I hated it so much that I got up for days for months. I would just get up and dread going to work. I hated it.
Was Jessica working? Does she have a career or work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was working. She was actually working in the marketing department for a carpet company, so she was working with them. at the time, and she was working part-time in lawn care. So it's kind of funny. My wife done this before I did.
Wow. Okay.
And so she worked with her mom, who owns a lawn care company. Her and her mom now are full-time, and she's actually been full-time longer than I have. So I told her I quit my job. And she said, "You did what?" I said, "I quit my job." And she's like, "What are we going to do?" I was like, how many people do you know just up and just quit $120,000 a year job and just say, "I'm done.
Yeah.
I quit."
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to hate it to give up a job like that.
Yeah.
And so I gave it up, and I was like, I'm going to start mowing yards.
Oh my God.
I've got to do what I got to do to provide for my family. And so in the meantime, I was mowing yards. I took a local job with a trucking company, just running supplies for Kroger grocery stores.
Okay.
Just running stuff from a warehouse to their grocery stores while I was mowing. And within 6 months, I was full time. I was wide open. I had yearly contracts, and just started promoting on social media. Facebook is where I got started.
How did you?
And I'm sure you'll probably tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, well, no, but how? I'm always like curious, like the how. Like, how did you just do an about face? Like most people, they're like, I got to get all the ducks in a row and get like all the 5 green lights, so the road's all clear. And I'm like, you just got to start.
Took a risk. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I took a risk and had no idea if it was going to work.
Okay.
But I
That's
knew
fair.
if I kept working and kept pushing, eventually a light bulb would go off and I would figure this out. And, you always hear that whole thing, fake it till you make it. It's not really fake it till you make it. It's just fail and get back up and just keep trying.
Sure.
Till you figure it out and do it right.
I always heard faith it till you make it,
Yeah.
Because I was just living on a prayer, bro. I'm like, one day this thing will come together. It's funny that you actually said that, because the episode that I dropped today, which would have been Monday, I talked about, it wanted to be like this part 2 of launching your business, is this talk I did today. And I said, you just got to like take action and make a mess. I mean, I know it sounds kind of remedial, but take action, make a mess, and evolve. And I said, after 6 months, you'll be better. 12 months after that, you'll be better. And so is that kind of your philosophy here?
Pretty much. I mean, the very first year, I can remember wintertime, my very first season in wintertime, and I was going, what am I going to do? I mean, the lights have got to be paid next week.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
sure,
truck payments coming due. What am I going to do?
So when did you go all in? Was it in the spring? Like, did you try to line up the
springtime?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was springtime. I went all in the spring, and it was, like I said, we were worried how we were going to pay for this and pay for that. And, I had a daughter that, she was getting ready to go into middle school before long. And it was like,
wow,
what am I going to do? I've got a family to provide for. And I was nervous. I ain't going to lie. I mean, I was terrified.
Sure.
But I just said, forget it. I'm just going to keep working. I never was a social media person.
Right.
I never really got into Facebook or Instagram. Matter of fact, I just started Instagram like 2 years ago, I think it was.
Oh my God. Right.
Yeah, I never was a social media person. So I started a Facebook page, and it was kind of funny because people see our Facebook, and everybody thinks my middle name's Jessica, don't they, Brian?
We do. I asked you. I'm like, hey, what's up, Richey, Jessica with Plemons? You're like, bro, that's not my middle name. And I said, well, sure it is. It's on your Facebook. And he goes, no. And I knew your girl's name was Jessica, bro. Like, that's the fun. I'm just a remedial like that. But I was like, I just don't understand it, bro. And you're like, no, because I thought that's maybe how they do it in the South. I don't know. What do I know? I was like, Richey's a cool guy.
We just share everything down here.
Right. Well, I'm like, dude, like if your middle name was Jessica, dude, honestly, you could sport it. Like you're a nice dude. You look military background. Ain't nobody gonna get a bar fight with you. You like, oh, what's up, Jessica? Yeah. I mean, but that's not the case, because that's.
I'd be like, what's up?
Yeah, like that. That's not the case though, because it's you and your girl share an Instagram or a Facebook. Right. But tell the story. How did you guys get that all linked up?
So I wasn't a big person in Facebook because I always thought it was, the only thing I ever seen was the drama from Facebook.
Right.
And so you always deal with that family drama, he said this on Facebook to her, and I was like, that's not for me. I'm not a drama person. So
sure.
I said, all right. I said, but I got to get a page for my company. Everybody's like, start a Facebook page for your company. I said, okay, I can do this. So I'm on here for like 30 minutes trying to figure out how to make Plemons Lawn and Landscapes Facebook page. without making a personal page. And I couldn't figure it out. And so I told my wife, I said, I don't really want the personal page. I just want the business. And she's like, well, just start a Facebook page and I'll get on the personal page and do all that kind of stuff. And we can, we post pictures of my daughter and things like that on there, and you can do your business on the business page. I said, all right, that'll work.
There you go.
So it ended up being Richey, Jessica, Plemons.
Oh, there you go.
People all the time are like, are y'all going to get your own page? And we're like, at this point, we really don't care. We're just going to leave the personal page like it is, because I don't really get on there much. My wife gets on there. And so if anybody ever sends me dirty memes, just remember my wife is seeing those before I do. So
that's always exciting. Oh, my God.
Just
I love
let everybody know that she gets it before I do.
Oh, my God.
And,
too funny, dude. Hey, normally, Richey, though, when like people have a mutual Facebook, you know what they say, like, you messed up or something like that. So, but I'm sure that's not the case. You're an honorable man.
That's what a lot of people. That's what a lot of people think. But we've been together for 13 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well,
so,
that's awesome, man. I'm always like, ooh, mutual Facebook. Somebody messed up. I'm just kidding, bro. But and by the way, like you guys are really good people, man. Because I got to see you guys at GIE a couple years in a row now, and 4th Street Live. That's the thing. When you guys come to 4th Street Live, like you get to like kind of join in on these conversations and all these relationships, because at 4th Street Live, like you're hanging out, and 10 feet to the left of you is Stanley Dirt Monkey, and 10 feet to the right of you is Keith Kalfas, and then Blake is there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're all just buds.
You're just having a good time.
It's so fun. It's so lighthearted. Nobody's like, hey man, how much revenue you do, or how many subs, or how many views, or how many customers. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, just hang out, be normal.
It's like, this band's awesome. I don't understand them, but they're awesome, man. Let's throw some darts. Let's play cornhole. Let's have a good time.
Gotta have a good time, man. Well, there's so many good events and parties. Like Element has their thing up there, and there's so much food. If you know Louisville, it's full of food. Louisville, you gotta say it right, Louisville. Yeah. But anyway, okay. So as we're going through this whole story, man, you're in business for yourself, and I want to talk to you about how what equipment did you decide to get? How did you get your customers? How did you get your business running? Because I know you might gloss over that because you're like, man, I don't want to go back there, but a lot of guys they want to know, hey, how did you get your first customers? How did you start getting those first contracts you were saying out of the gate? Maybe what did you do for winter income? Because you guys probably have a smaller winter than what we do, but still 2-3 months off where you're trying to figure things out. So let's do this. We'll go down that rabbit hole here. We're going to hear from the GIE Plus Expo again, and then we'll get right back into it.
We want to thank the lawn and landscape community for making GIE Plus Expo their place to reunite as an industry. Like a family reunion, thousands of dealers, landscape pros, and contractors return annually to network, share ideas, learn best practices, and make new friends. It all starts Wednesday, October 21st with the opening reception and continues into the night with free concerts in downtown Louisville. At the show, you'll have the opportunity to share experiences and brainstorm new approaches to your business challenges with friends and like-minded professionals. You don't want to miss the opening keynote, Secrets of Being an Effective Leader, presented by retired Navy 4-star Admiral James Stavridis. Register now at GIE-expo.com, and we'll see you October 21st through the 23rd in Louisville.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks to GIE Plus Expo for sponsoring this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Those guys are just classy, man. And just so you guys know, GIE Expo, it's all systems go. We're ready to rock and roll. I don't care if they got to, fog the whole place and get rid of all the COVID, all the nasty COVID out there. But just having fun. But we're ready to rock and roll, man. We're not canceling nothing. Nothing is going to get in our way. That thing is all engines forward. We talked to Warren. We talked to all these different guys that run the show, Chris Kaiser, and they said, hey, we can't wait to host you guys. So all right, so Richey, you're getting started in business, and you said you took this leap of faith, which is, I got fired from True Green. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, it wasn't really fired. It was like this mutual agreement that you shouldn't come back because they replaced the guy in my truck at spray training, and then they're like, well, we don't have a truck for you. And I said, well, no big deal. Like, I'll go get another truck. And they said, yeah, all the trucks are full. And I said, oh. And they said, well, I thought you were doing this lawn care thing. And I said, yeah, I'm doing this lawn care thing. And so So I went back, man. I'll tell you what, in 6 weeks, I sold 18 grand worth of work because I needed to pay the bills. And dude, even if you're only 19, 20 years old, like I felt that urgency. And so here you are, you're flushing a good, stable career, good, stable job. And you're kind of, taking life by the horns, but I mean, come on, like it's still fearful. You're still afraid,
Oh, yeah.
There's no guarantees. I'm real. Especially when you got a girl, you got to, take care of that. And so what was that first 6 months like? Were you surprised at how easy it was, or just come on, weigh in for me?
Well, we talk about you're fearful and you're afraid, and there's not a week goes by that I still don't do things that I go, all right, I'm nervous.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make this work. It's got to work. Because no matter how big you get, there's still going to be the stresses of owning your own business.
Sure.
There's a new obstacle every day. There's going to be a new obstacle. So I guess as far as how easy it was to get into it, once I started the Facebook page and I started putting my name out there, I started getting people that I knew would call, and I started placing flyers and cards at local businesses. We got cork boards up where people put their cards, and I started putting those up. Mm-hmm. And then then word of mouth started to kind of travel. And to this day, my very first contract customer, I got the first week in business. I went by, they called me. I walk up to this house and I'm going, oh my, I don't know if I'm qualified to do a place this beautiful. I mean, this place is gorgeous. Beautiful Georgia lawn,
intimidating.
Yes, very intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my very first property. And so the husband and wife come out, and we sat on the porch for about 30 minutes, and we talked about what they wanted. He wanted to continue mowing.
Mm-hmm.
He loved to mow his yard. He enjoyed it. And basically he said, I want you to do everything else. And I was like, well, what do you want? Weed eating, blowed off? He's like, I want my hedges trimmed 3 times a year. I want my leaves cleaned up. I want, annuals planted, roses cut back in late winter, pretty much a full maintenance package minus the mowing.
Okay.
I was like, wow, very first customer. Okay, we can work with this. I said, all right, let me go home, put some numbers together, and see what we can do, because this is going to be a year-round customer.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to pay me for 12 months out of the year.
Okay.
And so we put together some numbers, and I brought back a price, and I'm sitting here going, this guy's going to think I'm crazy. I mean, it's over $400 a month. There's just no way they're going to do this. And they go, you're hired. When can you start? Friday?
Jackpot.
I'll be here.
Nice.
And so I show up on Friday with my little mower, my weed eater, and he's got the yard mowed on Thursday afternoon. And so I weed eat and I blow everything off, and they loved it. They said, this looks beautiful. You've done a good job. I said, okay, well, maybe I can handle this on my own.
Okay.
And fast forward about 6 or 7 months, and I get a call from the husband, and he says, hey, Richey, I got some things going on, and this is the reason why we hired you. I knew I wouldn't be able to continue doing this forever. And so in my mind, I'm thinking I'm getting ready to lose this contract.
Okay.
He goes, I need you to start mowing if you don't care. Mow it for me this week.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mow it this week. And he was one who done circles on this beautiful zoysia turf. He just mowed in circles. He's a grandpa mowing,
Yep.
But that's the way he done it, and that's the way he liked it, and he didn't care. So he was happy.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I mow a checkerboard pattern into his yard. And he comes home from work, and he looks at the yard, and he goes, how'd you do that? How to do what? He goes, how did you make my yard look like a baseball field?
Oh.
I was like, it's just technique and the way you mow. And he goes, I like it.
There you go.
I'll let you know if I need you to mow it again. I said, okay, that's fine. I was like, he didn't like it. He don't want me mowing it.
Right. They don't want to tell you the truth, right?
Yeah. So a week later, and he calls me again and says, hey, go ahead and mow it. I said, okay. I mowed it again. And he goes, how much extra do I owe you? And like I said, it was over $400 a month. And I started looking at how I priced this, and I was way, way overpriced.
Okay.
Way over. I'd rather be, but I mean, I guess it's better to be overpriced than to be so low that you're losing money.
Yeah, amen.
And so I went back to him and I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've rechecked these numbers, and I talked to another lawn care guy, and I told him what I was charging. He goes, oh my gosh, you're charging. He said, that's what you'd be charging if you were mowing it every week, man. I was like, oh, okay. So it worked out pretty good. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll mow it every week then. And so for the same price. And so they was like, okay, great, thank you. And I've been mowing it now since I started, and and at the time I didn't know this, but he told me that he couldn't mow it anymore. Basically what had happened was he had cancer.
Okay, sure.
And so he didn't know how much longer he had, if the treatments were going to work. He was going to be too weak to mow, and
right.
Unfortunately, about 3 years ago, he passed away.
Oh no! And, Jeez.
And so I showed up the day that he had passed. I was at his house the day he had passed away to mow it. I seen all these people there, and I looked at my worker and I said, "We need to leave."
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "We've not even started." I said, "Something's not right. All these people are here. We need to go." And so we left, and I called his wife a couple of days later. I just shot her an email. Actually, I didn't even call her. I just shot her an email. I said, "Sorry for your loss.
Yep.
We didn't want to interrupt you guys. We'll see you guys at the funeral home." And so I went to his funeral and paid my respects to him and to his wife. She is I guess you would say she's the happiest person for what we do. I mean, there's not a week goes by that she doesn't go, "We love you.
Yeah.
We appreciate everything you do." And so it means a lot to hear that from a customer, say, "We appreciate you."
100%.
It ain't about the money. It's about they actually genuinely care about you.
Well, I just got to add, because when you build these relationships with these customers, I mean, they become family. I mean, like, you know, they really do. Funny, I had not funny, but I remember it was like 3 years ago, dude. First time it ever happened in my business where somebody had passed away, a customer. I mean, literally 2 weeks before I called to confirm service. And then this is like first part of March. And 2 weeks later, I call up, phone goes to voicemail, and then I get a phone call back from that number, which is this dude, and it's his wife. And I'm like, hey, no big deal. Maybe it's the family phone. What do I know? Wife calls me back and says, yeah, he's not here anymore. And I'm like, well, like, what does not here mean anymore? Like, he doesn't live here? Like, and she's like, no, unfortunately, he passed away. He had a stroke while driving a car and totaled the car on the highway up north. Was I mean, dude, just the craziest story. And I'm like, and like they call like the, like the 4 or 5 levels of like, somebody passing away, like shock, and then like, your disbelief, and then finally acceptance, or, so like this whole coping thing. And even I was kind of going through it. I'm like, no. Like I just talked to him, Bill. I just talked to Bill like not even 10 days ago. She's like, yeah. Right. She goes, I talked to him last night. And I'm like, so I'm like, so I didn't even know what to do, bro. Like I got an answer for everything. I'm like, so do you want us to continue? Like, I don't know what to say here. I apologize. And she goes, no, I need you. He has life insurance. I'm okay. Life is, it's upside down, but I'll make it. She goes, but yeah, she's like, I need you. She goes, I need to take care of the property until we decide if we're going to keep the home or sell it. And I mean, those are real conversations. And like, I'm going back through like the employee handbook, page 54. There's no like client dies, like that's real life.
It's not there.
Yeah.
And the stories that your clients tell you, it's kind of like what you hear in a hair salon. The women in the hair salon, they talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed in my business, the guys that talk to their barbers, they also talk to the lawn care guy.
Yep.
And and you still have some customers that kind of just look down and go, oh, he's just a lawn guy.
Right. Right. Sure.
But for the most part, once they get to know you and know your family, they get to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
They open up to you.
They really do.
You build some relationships. And so even though I'm only down to 5 residential customers nowadays,
mm-hmm.
I know those 5 customers very well.
Yep.
And I can tell you their kids, their grandkids, their cousins, their uncles, their brothers, their dads. I mean, you learn their family, you meet them, and you speak to them, and you come by and they're all hanging out at the swimming pool, and they're like, hey, do you want to jump in after you get done working? I'm like, nah, I've got 2 more yards to go, or I don't think you want this covered in grass going in that.
That's what I always say. I always say, like, I'm too greasy and stinky, brother. I'll ruin all that chlorine instantly, So
exactly. So it's difficult,
It's real life though, man. Like that's what I say. Like you can watch all the YouTube videos and watch all the training programs you want, and I encourage you to do. But like, until you pass out a flyer and you kind of like go to war trying to like answer questions on the spot and bid on the spot, and or a customer passes away, or you get into an argument with somebody, which is never good for either side. Like these are real life running a business that not everybody gets to see, right. And they just think that it's always sunshine and rainbows. And I'm like, no, man, there's days where I'm making endless phone calls to things and people to fix things or cover things but it's, I still take it over a job. I'll tell you that, just to be honest.
Oh yeah.
But, so, well, let me ask you this, because some people are going to ask, how do you only get 25 or 30 customers? I mean, how is that? Did you scale the business down to just you? I mean, did you go from 200 grand in revenue to like 75 and you're happy? Like no right or wrong answer, but where are you at now?
All right, so when I was at almost 100 customers, it was a lot of small residential lawns.
Sure.
And it was just like, when you're one truck trying to keep up with that many people, sometimes it gets difficult, and you'll forget, oh, man, I forgot to mow so-and-so, I got to go back and get it. And this is, well before I started using any kind of software. I was doing everything on pen and paper and a calendar on my wall. And then I learned about exciting. It. Then I started using Yardbook, and Yardbook was like, hey, I can put everything in here.
Yep.
And so I was like, all right, this works good.
Sure.
And so I wanted to do commercial. Some people like residential, some people like commercial. I like commercial more than I like residential. I just like that commercial job, the job that I'm going to be at for 3 or 4 hours. Like today, we're at a condo association. I mean, I guess you'd consider it residential, but it's considered in the commercial side because you're dealing with a homeowners association as opposed to a homeowner.
Yep.
And so we consider that commercial. And so I maintain 4 HOAs, and there's about 56 to 80 residents in each HOA system.
Wow.
And they range anywhere from 4 acres to 10 acres.
Okay.
So the one we're at today is we've been here. Well, it's 13 hours at this one place today.
Wow.
We've been here all day. And it's just an all-day job. The only time I've left was run out and get lunch for the guys and get back over here and get back to work. We're pruning shrubs. That's what we're doing today. We've got the old Husqvarna hedge trimmer out and the Milwaukee battery-powered hedge trimmer, and we're just going to town.
There you go. There you go.
We're gonna prune about 900 to 1,000 shrubs today.
Shout out to all my pruning people. Well, I don't do a lot of pruning. Yeah, right. I was gonna say I don't do a lot of pruning anymore. I sub out a ton of the pruning. Actually, I met up with a buddy, and we got a new subcontractor for pruning. My friend Brandon does a lot, but he does a lot of his own work now, and he doesn't have time for me. I'm like, thanks, just kidding. But but I need another pruning guy because I can't do it all. There's no way. And this guy, all he does is like landscape installs and pruning, and he does immaculate work. And so it's always good to again guys, we talk about this all the time, like network. Your competition isn't competition. They can collab, they can subcontract, you can subcontract for them. And it's always good to just have good guys that, and I told him like what he can start charging some of my clients and some of the commercial work I do. He goes, dude, this is like a 50% premium on anything I do. I go, yeah, well, I'm known as the guy that gets it done. I'm like, dude, you and I, like, we can get rich. Like, let's do this. And he's like, yeah. So I already got him like 3 different prune jobs. There's like an $1,800 prune job, a $1,400 prune job. And he's like, dude, this is like a $750 job. I go, not for my clients, not for me. I'm like, I'm not messing around, man. Like, I'm like, if you do this and you're my guy, I need you to show up. He's like, bro, you want me to make $1,500 and 6 hours worth of work? He's like, I'll show up. So maybe if somebody doesn't want to subcontract for you, a little pro tip, maybe you're not paying them very good. So
yeah, well, you talk about it. There's nothing wrong with networking with other lawn care guys in your community. Matter of fact, one of the larger companies in this area, he's running 5 crews, I believe. He runs multiple landscape crews. He's got 5 lawn care crews. He's gone into upholstery mulching. He's got a pressure washer business now. Wow. He stopped by today and hung out for lunch here on our property. He stopped by. He sent me out. He swung by. I said, hey, man, I just want to see what you're up to. How you been, man?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Hey, how does that new HOA I sent you working out? It's working out great, man. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I've got something that might be up your alley in your town. And just like that today, I picked up one of his properties that was kind of out of his area. He took one of my old properties a couple of weeks ago. It's been about a month now. It was over more in an area that he maintains, and it was kind of out of the way for us. And so I called him up and said, hey, man, I've got this property over here. Do you want to take it over? Well, how much you want to sell your contract for? I said, I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to give it to you. You want it, come get it. He come in and he took care of it.
Man,
so
that's
what
good
does
stuff.
he do? He repays the favor a month later and sends me something in my area.
I
within
dig
a
it.
month.
I dig it.
So,
man,
it
feels
it
good.
worked out great.
It feels good making money with friends, and people, like you said, man, so many people like snub lawn care and landscape guys, and I totally get the chuck in the truck thing. Like I get it. I was honestly probably that guy looking back on it. But man, you can chisel out a good income, doing what we do, and charge appropriate, have subcontractors. You can get a lot of hours in with a network of people. And I just, I like seeing my friends get rich, Richie. I'll be honest with you. My friend Bedell and I mean, he knows the numbers better than I do, but we're doing like 10.
I love Mike. I love Mike Bedell.
Dude, we're doing like 10, 20, 50 grand a year, like in work. And it's very, I wouldn't say it's easy because it takes a lot of hard work, but we're getting like the only thing I like more than making money is like putting money in my friend's pocket, and I'm not a hero, and he helps me out tremendously too. So it's a great relationship. But so let me ask you this: so these 25 commercial and some residential, these aren't like small like customers you're talking about. So these are big accounts.
Yeah, we've got big accounts. We've got national chains in there.
Okay.
A lot of people are afraid of national chains because they look at a national chain and they go, they don't pay nothing.
Sure.
Well, I don't work directly with the national chain. I'm working with the regional manager.
Yep.
The person that's in charge of that region, because regional managers want it looking good. They want to pay the money to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And so you work with them. I tend to stay away from the major subcontracting companies. I guess you would say the large companies.
Yeah, don't do that.
Sub stuff out. I stay away from that, but I'll work with regional managers and take care of a few stores. Matter of fact, we've got a couple of 3 restaurants that we maintain.
Okay.
And it's I'm sure you've heard of Cracker Barrel Old Country Store.
Yeah.
We maintain
play checkers
3
there.
Cracker Barrels. Yeah, exactly. You can play checkers by the fireplace.
I'll smoke anybody in checkers, man. Right now, let's do this thing.
You may be good in checkers, but can you take me in chess?
No. No, I cannot. I have no idea what's happening.
The only one I know of is like the little horsey one you make an L shape with.
Man, I have no idea what's happening in chess. I say life is chess, but I have no idea.
I'm terrible at chess. And so, I work with a regional manager with that, and they said, all right, well, we've got 20 stores in my region. We want you to maintain all of those stores. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I was like, I'll maintain this store, this store, and this store. Those are in my area.
Sure.
Well, what do you mean? I'm like, those are the 3 stores that are going to make me money. The rest of them are going to cost me money.
Sure.
I said, but I tell you what, I know people who cover every one of these stores in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I ended up doing was I contacted a guy down south of me. I said, hey, we got these stores. Do you want that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who do I need to work with? Hold on, I'll get you the number. I contacted a guy up north. I said, hey, man, I got these stores in this area. Do you want them? Yeah, I'd love to. Who do I talk to? Hold on, I'll get you a number.
Networking.
I send the number to the lady, and she goes, wow, thank you. I'll contact them. She calls them all up. We all are doing Cracker Barrels, and we all know each other. We call, hey, man, how was your Cracker Barrel today? Was it full of trash? Like, yeah, man, there was a bunch of trash in it today. I'm picking up face masks everywhere.
That's so well, dude. I'll tell you the strip mall that I take care of. I've got another friend taking care of their other strip mall in Lansing, about an hour away. And then I do a tire store. A lot of you guys seen it on YouTube. It's a national chain, and there's like 6 other buddies that are all lawn bros between Lansing to the far east side of Michigan, and then all the way through Ohio, through all the way to the east side of Cleveland, that all work with the same maintenance manager for that national tire company, right? So I talked to this guy, and let's call him Bob. And I say, hey, Bob, I said, do you know so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? He goes, yeah. He goes, how do you know these people? I go, well, I just said networking, man, do some stuff with Instagram. And he's like, oh, wow. I go, yeah, if you ever need anybody from, from the East Coast to probably the Midwest, Missouri, like all the way over, bro, I could probably find you somebody. And he's like, all right, well, he's only covering like the Northeast, like Michigan and Ohio market, but dude, it's networking. It's networking. And if you don't go to GIE,
networking 101.
Yeah. If you don't network with these people, like how are you supposed to, earn this business? Like it's not, what they say, what you know, it's who you know. Well, 10 years ago, I didn't know anybody. Maybe that's why I was broke. Yep. But anyway, well, cool. This is fun. This is exciting. I'm always curious to see like how people are getting these clients, and so you guys, for obvious answers, you guys don't do any snow removal, right? That's not a thing down there. No snow, no ice.
Snow? No, we get snow every year, Brian.
Shut up, dude. You messing with me?
It's serious.
Do you really?
Snow every year. People are like, it don't snow in the sun. I'm like, I don't know where they live in the south, but it snows here every year.
Are you kidding me? For
I
real?
don't know,
Georgia?
back in, I think it was January or February, we got like 6 inches dumped on us before noon one morning. And by 3 o'clock, it was all melted and gone. And I was like,
Oh, my
why we
God.
don't do snow removal in the south?
That is some funny stuff.
It's gone by dinner time.
I just,
And, it is.
that's
And
funny.
I guess the thing is, when it snows here, everybody rushes out and they get their milk and their bread, and they clear the grocery stores out, and so people are like, "Well, what are we going to do with all this milk and bread now that the snow's melted?" So you're down in the cul-de-sac and you're trying to give away peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. All the little kids.
Oh my God!
Here, take this.
Do they go stock on toilet paper too, or no? Or is that just a COVID thing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that was just a COVID thing, but we usually are pretty well stocked up on that in the Plemons household. My wife, she'll buy like 60 rolls at a time. I'm like, why? So are we going to roll somebody's house later? Are we going back to our teen years later? We're going to go roll some trees.
Man, if you got a Costco, you know what I'm talking about. You get one pallet and you're good for the year, and
exactly.
And you got to bring your own forklift because they don't allow you to bring your own bag. Or you got to bring your own bag. You know what I'm saying? So that's a true story there. My mom, she's like the coupon mom, So she's like, I got you guys a 48 pack. It was like 50 cents off. I'm like, Mom, it's 50 cents. She's like, I know, but 50 cents adds up. I go, I'm trying to buy a Tesla. I'm trying to buy a Tesla and a home and land. I'm like, there's not enough coupons in the world, Mom. But she's like, I know, but 50 cents is 50 cents. I'm like, whatever, man. So that's just Mom.
Well, we saved 50 cents last year because we bought enough on that one trip that it covered the whole year.
Yeah. And then when I'm there, I buy $300 stupid Sonos speakers because they're on display. And I'm like, man, those are some sweet Sonos speakers, bro. I swear to God, I got two Sonos speakers in my house. And
you're going, but we saved 50 cents on the toilet.
Yeah. I was like, Liz, we spent $120 on this stupid Costco membership. I don't think we walk out of there without spending $350. And I got two Sonos speakers. I swear to God, it was like a 2 special box, and it was like $300. I go, I spent $650 my first week at Costco. I said, man, I'm feeling those savings, babe. And she's like, shut up, Oh, but unbelievable, bro. Well, here let's pivot because we got some other stuff I want to talk about. And I don't got a lot of time because I want to be respectful of your calendar. We got about 10-15 minutes, but let's talk about social media. YouTube and also LMN because you are one of those cool dudes to watch on YouTube. Like when I see a Plemons video, I usually click yes, I want to watch it. And there's a lot of cool stuff that you use like Ferris, some of the Gravely stuff. You guys have like a lot of open land, but you also got a lot of hills.
Yeah. So we do a lot of hill mowing.
So what got you started doing the whole YouTube thing? I mean, what was the MO, or did you just document this new business you were starting, or did you want to participate in the lawn care community? What was the what's the reason you started, and what's the reason you keep going?
Well, I started on YouTube, and it was kind of funny. I've only been on YouTube. I've been on YouTube about almost 2.5 years. Okay. And so when I started my YouTube, when I got into this, I learned from guys on YouTube. You was watching Blake from B&B.
Oh yeah.
We watched Wally from Beach River, Brian Ring.
Yep.
They had Brian Shane, all the Brians. We watched the 3 Brians, So,
it's true.
If your name's Brian, you got to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, right.
That's what I did. And you guys were helping people. And I said, I want to do that. I want to help people. So I started a YouTube channel, and I told everybody, I was like, I may not post every day. I may not post every week. But in each one of my videos, I want to bring something to you that's going to help somebody. Amen. It may not help everyone, but if I can help one person with that video was worth it.
Okay.
I could get 100 dislikes and 101 views and 100 dislikes, but one person out of that 101 liked it. It's worth it to me.
Amen.
I'm helping someone. Mm-hmm. And so I've not been real active on YouTube the past 2 months because we are so busy. I mean, it's 8:15 at night, and we're still out here. I mean, we're still working. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we're not going to get until about 9 o'clock tonight. And that's just the nature of the beast this time of year because the rain has really put a hurting on our hours this year. So we're getting behind, and and I've got to play catch up. The business, of course, always comes first.
Yep.
But I do have some things in the pipeline for YouTube that we're we're wanting to do some videos that's going to take us a little time to film.
Okay.
And so we're taking that break to start working some other things. I've noticed since I haven't posted in but one video in 2 months, I've noticed my subscriber count's kind of starting to tick down. I was like, hey, I better get some videos up pretty soon. Guys are like, this guy's gone. He's in. We're just not going to watch
I mean, dude, like, it's still like a side thing. Like, I know I got to post 3 times a week, but I haven't posted a video in like 6 or 7, 8, 9 days now. And I've been busy. Yeah. I've been burned out, dude. It's 100 degrees up here and I'm tired and I get home exhausted. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm real, just like you guys, man. So I need to get back on the stick, but I feel you. So. But you also do a lot with like Ferris. You did some stuff with Echo. So are you just like a big equipment junkie too? Like, do you love talking about equipment, or is it just a means to an end?
I love equipment. I mean, what guy don't love power equipment?
I know.
We love this stuff. So I kind of got in with Ferris. That was the first mower I bought. I bought a 0-turn. I bought a
Z2, Z3,
a Ferris IS 600.
Oh, okay.
That was my first mower. Was a Ferris IS 600. So I bought it, and it was a 48-inch deck, and I realized real quick I'm going to need a bigger deck for everything that I mow.
Okay.
And so I kept that mower, and I bought a Z2. I bought a 61-inch Z2 powered with a Kawasaki, and I loved it. I loved the stand. I was like, man, I love this. I'm like Blake Albertson on a red machine instead of orange, So I loved it, and so I run Ferris and then I picked up Ferris walk behinds. I picked up 2 other stand-on mowers since then. And so we've had 2 Z2s and 2 Z3s and all 61-inch cuts. Well, I had 1 Z2 that was a 52. I'm sorry. So a 52 Z2, a 61 Z2, a 61, and a 61 Z3.
Wow.
So I've had those. I've had the ISX 3300, which is the new 0-turn from Ferris with a 40 horsepower engine. That is a monster engine, 40 horsepower on a mower.
That's pretty legit. Yeah.
That's stout. And so I've got that right now on demo from Ferris. They shot it over to me and said, hey, run the ever-loving dog crap out of this machine for the next year. Tell us what you think. Tell us what needs to be changed. Tell us what you like and what you don't like. Tell us what we can do to make it better. And so they sent it to me a couple of months ago. So we've been running that thing like crazy, just trying to get some hours on it running and some just stuff that we normally wouldn't mow.
Sure.
So, we're a weekly mowing company. We don't do the 3 and 4 foot tall grass. So it was like, hey, let's find something that's just, this machine shouldn't go through.
Sure.
And let's mow it. That's what they want to see. That's what they want us doing. So that's what we're doing.
Sure.
And then I got into walkers. I love the look of a walker. I love how they ride. I love how they cut. It was just something different. And I was like, this is great for bagging and collecting at my commercial condo associations and also at some of my commercial projects because you're not slinging grass everywhere. It is a true floating deck. You can mow down to 2 inches and not scalp. I'm like, this is perfect for Bermuda grass.
Sure.
So we mow Bermuda with our walker mower. And then I'm a part of the Gravely Ambassador program. So everybody's like, you've never run a Gravely. How did you become a part of that? And I tell people, I'm like, they want people that don't just run their product because if you're just getting guys that run Gravely, then it's always going to be great. It's always going to be good info. They're never going to hear the bad. So they brought on a few of us this year that had never run Gravely. And I tell you what, that machine is a tank. It's a tough built machine. It's built really well. And I hear a lot of guys say that they don't cut well. I'm not sure what type of grass they cut. Of course, everybody's got a different type of grass.
Yeah,
the machine I've got.
We've got Kentucky Blue. We got Kentucky Blue up here, and I wasn't like the build quality stout, but the cut quality, meh. Like it was like a C-, and that's unfortunate because it's good people, good mower. Yep,
we've got a little bit of turf type tall fescue, but for the most part, it's Bermuda, zoysia. A little bit of centipede and weeds. We get a lot of weeds.
Sure. No, that makes
clover, and I've yet to really see a machine that cuts weeds any different. They all kind of cut the same in weeds. You run over the little white flowers from clover and they stand back up. You're like, well, that sucks.
Sure, yeah. No, that's interesting.
But,
well, the new Ferris looks stout because I did a demo with them on that Z3K. Or not Z. What's the Z3? Z3X. Z3X. And that, I mean, it's actually kind of funny because when they trailered that thing out of the demo trailer with who was it? Pace up here, I think. I was like,
Pace, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is that thing, dude? Like, I'm not even...
monster, ain't it?
Dude, I mean, you see it in person. It's a monster. Like, the wheel stance, it's got to be 72 inches, 75 inches. I don't know. And the mower deck is a 60, you know? It's like... I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's like 64 inches. But I just remember it
I think it's like 59 inches.
Is that... It's huge. It's... Dude, it's...
61-inch deck, yeah.
I mean, the Hydros, it's still like one of the best units I've used. Great cutting deck, and I love the deck height adjust lever on the left and the oil guard. It was a solid mower. Like, it was a really, really good unit, and I see so many guys use them, especially Southern boys, because of all the hills, you know, and everybody's taking them on like 20, 30 degree slopes and angles, and I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying, like, that's what I see you guys cutting because you got to. That's your topography down there, and it's just crazy. They're a stout mower. So Ferris is shout out to those guys, you know. That's awesome. Well,
yeah, Ferris really takes care of me. I mean, I say they take care of me. I mean, they don't pay me or anything to give them ideas or what I think about the product, but they take care of me. They're going to send me some stuff. Hey, let's try this. Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you think. But you don't see a whole lot of video. I'm not making a whole lot of videos on their products. I'm working inside with them, sending them information on what I think about the machine.
Yeah, well,
and you know, they flew me to New York last year, which was an absolute blast.
Yep.
And
you and Nickens, right?
With those guys.
You and Nickens?
Yep, me and Alex Nickens, yeah.
Yep, he's a good dude. I'll be honest, if it wasn't for Alex, because I don't think your videos were promoted to me just yet, or maybe you weren't even on YouTube. This is 2-3 years ago. But I saw those stripe videos from Nickens back in the day on his white house family farm thing, and you know what I'm talking about. He's got that 2 acres or 5 acres of mowing, and beautiful.
That old 52 Z2.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I was like, I'm like, what are these mowers? And they're killing the stripes. And so I don't think Ferris could have picked two better dudes that represent than you and him, because when you came on board, you were using Ferris too. But a lot of my Ferris people listening to the show, they're like, why don't we get the time of the day? It's always X marks Skag, right? I'm like, yeah. Well, start a YouTube channel. That's how I got started doing
your day.
Yeah, that's how I got started doing YouTube, man. Like, nobody was reviewing X mark and nobody was reviewing Red Max. And so I said, that's kind of how I started. And so if you're like, well, why don't people give Ferris the time of day? I mean, besides you, Alex, and maybe Johnny Moe, I don't know anybody who's regularly.
And I don't think Johnny's running Ferris anymore, but you've got I think Happy's
okay.
YouTube,
yep. They do.
Running it.
Yep. You're right.
There's a few out there. They just don't have a huge YouTube following just yet. But I mean,
sure. Good mowers, though.
Happy's has got a good following. Yeah, it's a good mower. I mean, it's built pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things I don't like, just like with any machine. I express what I don't like. I don't like the way it mulches.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a terrible mulching machine. But fortunately, I don't have to mulch a whole lot with it.
Sure.
But it is a great side discharge cutting. I mean, it'll cut through just about anything. It cuts really well. It just don't mulch real well. It'll cut the grass, but it just leaves a lot of clumps when you mulch with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
other than that, but it works for what I use it for.
Sure.
And I always tell people, this works for me. It may not work for you, but it works for me.
Well, that's all that matters, right? Amen. So, no, I like it. Let me ask you this. While I got you, LMN. So you have a cool perspective because you used to use Yardbook. You have transitioned over to using LMN. I know a lot of guys run LMN. It's another what we call CRM or customer relationship management software. So LMN to me is still an enigma. The companies that I know use it do millions of dollars in sales. I mean, every one of them, they do $1 million plus. So how did you get linked up with them, and what is it done for your business? Are you enjoying it? I mean, what's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. How's it working for you?
And I tell you how I got linked up with them. It was kind of funny because I got a phone call one day. Or I got an email. They were like, "Hey, this is Elman. We're interested in working with you. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Delete." And I was like, "I don't know who that is." I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Who's this? Then I get a phone call, and she's like, "Hi, this is so and so from LMN. We would like to work with you." And I'm like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, we're a software company. I'm like, I'm using Yardbook. It's free. What do I need LMN for?
Right.
You know? They were like, well, it's a little different. And I was like, whatever. Click, hang the phone up. You know,
Right.
you know, it wasn't quite like hang up on them, but I was like, I'll think about it. Just get back to me later on. And,
Sure.
you know, a couple of days go by, I don't think nothing of it, and they call me back, and they're like, no, seriously, you need to check this out. And I was like, all right, what do you got? You know, let me see this.
Sure.
And then they were like, hey, we want to fly you down to Miami and really give you a full onboarding course. I'm like, you know, fly me to Miami to show me how to use a program?
They got to wine and dine, man, you know?
I'm on my way. I'm like, I am on my way.
Yeah, sure.
But we get down there, and we start talking to Mark Bradley. He's the guy that designed the program, and he's the owner of the company. And
Okay.
the dude is just, I mean, he's amazing, extremely smart guy. The program there is a major learning curve with it. I'm not going to lie. It's not like you can just jump on it and learn it within a day.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
it takes months to really get efficient with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to tell you where you're losing money. I mean, it's going to break it down for you. You have what's called an onboarding process. You figure out your bills, everything that you pay for that company, every bit of overhead, what you're paying, how many hours in overtime you played last year, how many hours you paid workers out in just regular time last year, insurances. You put all that together, and it literally, you know, everybody says learn your numbers. You got to know your numbers. And when I was thinking know your numbers, it was like, okay, my mower costs this, my truck costs this, my worker costs me this every week, and fuel costs me that. All right, I know my numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
Right.
So more that goes into it. And so you literally go through everything, and it'll take you some time, a couple weeks or so. You get everything put together, you learn everything, and say, all right, this here is what it's going to take, and to be profitable. You put it in the system. And you literally say, all right, I'm going to do an estimate. I'm going to go over, all right, I'm going to do lawn maintenance on this property, yearly lawn maintenance. All right, so this truck, add that in. This trailer, lawn maintenance trailer 1, add that in. All right, or I can say, all right, here's my Isuzu box truck, lawn maintenance truck. We need to add that into this job site. It's going to be 2 hours on the job site for this, 2 hours on the job site for this. All right, let's add this in here. We need to do this for this many hours. And then all of a sudden, you look down at the bottom and it says, all right, your total cost is $37,000 a year to the customer, and this is what it breaks down to for a monthly price.
Okay.
You're like, send. You just hit send, and there you go. There's your estimate. It does it for you. It takes and learns you. Once it figures out how much what your numbers are, it does it all for you and tells you exactly. All you need to know is how long you're going to be there. You got to get that right. You got to know, when you do your estimate, how many hours you're going to spend on that property, and it's going to generate what you need to charge.
That's
Same with landscape. It automatically does your markup, and it'll have your hours and material, and it generates everything, and it'll look down the bottom and say, this is what you need to charge. You need to charge $21,000 for this landscape install.
No, I like that. I mean, honestly, you know, I've talked to Stanley Dirt Monkey behind the scenes about running, you know, because he said, you know, he's always like, you got to know your numbers. He was saying this 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, you know, and it's already getting burned out. Everybody says it, and that's cool. It's fine. It's great. I mean, thank God, you know, our industry is talking about knowing your numbers, but there's some guys that do get very surgical, and I like that. And Stan's one of those guys, because Stan was like, he did a video about like track loaders versus wheeled, track loaders, skid steers, and he was saying like, yeah, you might be running the a skid steer, but do you even know how much it costs to run this thing per hour? Let's say, I don't know, you're renting it for $250 or $400 for the day, whatever. So you're like, oh, I'm just going to own it and I'm going to go buy one, and you're charging $300 for the day to keep it on a job. But you don't know that it's costing you, and then you add tracks, or you add wide tracks to it, but you don't know that for every hour that unit is on and working and moving, that it's costing you, I forget the number, but it was like $18 per hour just to have those tracks. Yeah, and you know, it really got me
thinking. I know every time I show up on a job site, just my truck alone sitting on the job site, it's costing me it's actually costing me $9.70 something cents an hour just to sit there.
Yep. Dude, 100%.
It's costing me money sitting there.
Well, and
all right.
Well, and that's the kind of stuff I appreciate about like LMN, because I know it is more intensive, because they had reached out to us because we're social media influencers, whatever that means. And I said honestly, like I'm a small guy, I'm a small fish. I said, a lot of my guys that that follow us and that are fans and that I try to communicate to, our owner operators, are doing a couple $100,000 a year or less. And so like, I call like different tiers, like yard book, LMN, yard book, jobber, and LMN. And you could throw SAP in there. And I said, most of the guys I see running SAP and LMN, are doing $1 million, $2 million, 5 year, $10 million a year. Like, my friend Troy Glock, he's using LMN. What's his name? Corey Ballard, he's using, I think, SAP.
Caleb Allman.
Caleb Allman. So perfect example. Caleb Allman and Brittany, they're doing $1 million this year in sales, and they're using LMN. So your software and your business can evolve and rise to meet it. And but when I saw you getting hooked up, and people are going to go, oh, it's just because he's getting sponsored. I'm like, nah. I said, I know Richey. Making money on YouTube's cool, and I think more people should make more, but rather than less. Hello. But I was always curious, in you with your background, like I feel like it was more of like a numbers thing, a data driven thing. And again, I know it was intensive, because when LMN was talking to me, they're like, yeah, you got to come to this class, this class, this class, this class to like even get going, because we want to make sure that our people are competent and intelligent and know how it works. And I go, look, dude, I said, I got a bookkeeper. I know all my reports. I get them every month and every quarter and every 6 months and every year. And I look at them, but frankly, dude, it's still looking at like Fibonacci numbers. Okay. Like it's like looking at the matrix. Yeah. I get it. So
Mark told us something in Miami. Mark Bradley, the guy that owns the company, he told us something while we were down there, and he said, what do you want to make?
Sure.
As a business, where do you want to be? And I told him, I said, making $1 million is great, but I would be happy making $500,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And he goes, who wouldn't be happy making $500,000 a year? I was like, no. There's some people out there that wouldn't be happy. He says, I tell you what are you making right now? And, and I told him what I made a year, and he said, we'll double that this year. Mm-hmm. I was like, you will? He goes, yes, I'm going to show you how to double that this year.
Nice.
And literally, he said, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it, and this is where you need to do it at. And he literally says, we're going to make you guys millionaires eventually. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful.
That's good, man. Take it.
Hey, let's give it a shot. So I've been using it, and I've been applying it to my business. Yeah, so what? I've got the same customers every, I'm not getting to use the program as much because I don't do a ton of landscaping, mm-hmm. but we do landscape work. We do complete tear outs and installs. Matter of fact, we're working on a doctor's office right now, mm-hmm. tearing out the entire landscape at this doctor's office. We're coming back in with boulders, shrubs, trees, mulch, pine straw. I mean, full annual beds. I mean, it's a large undertaking. We're bringing in dirt. They got a lot of dirt work that's got to be done. We got to build up the beds. The beds were in bad shape. Mm-hmm. So. A lot of those things, a lot of people don't see me do. They don't see my landscape jobs that much. I mm-hmm. don't really post a whole lot on it, because when I'm on a landscape job, I'm not really talking. I'm focused. I'm trying to make sure this plant is in the right spot. I want to make sure this tree isn't too close to the house. All mm-hmm. right, well, we've got the plants out here. This tree doesn't look right here. We need to replace that with something else. Mm-hmm. So I'm focused when I'm on a landscape job.
I feel you.
And getting the grading correct, making sure water runs away from the building, not to the building. And a lot of people don't realize I do that kind of work, but we do. Mm-hmm. And, mm-hmm. And being a small company, it can get pretty hectic real quick.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good to know that you're using the software to help you grow your business. And that's what I want to know. Like, that's what I wanted to know, I should say, is it helping you? Are you more profitable? Because, if you're just using it and you're like, oh, I'm sponsored by LMN, like, that's cool. I mean, good for you. I mean, you win, but I want to know, like, hey, is it actually helping your business? Because if it is, and you can justify the price, like, dude, go for it. Because frankly, like, that's,
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, but that's what I was wondering. I'm like, but you know what? If you're able to grow your profit margins by 10, 12, 20, 20%, then, hello, it's going to pay for itself. And that's more important to me than anything. Like I do look at my numbers. I probably should need to look at them a lot more. But it's one of those things where when I heard Stanley talking about it, he's like, yeah, it costs $18 or $24 just to run this or just to run that. And I remember somebody saying like a zero turn is like $12 an hour. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but just to get the mower moving is $12 an hour. So when I'm saying like, yeah, between me and a guy, we run $125 per hour, cutting, 4 lawns at $35. Well, hello, that's all gross. Like we pay taxes, there's fuel, there's labor, there's your equipment moving. That's just that's just the mower. That's not oil changes. That's not insurance. So, when some of these guys are doing like a $20 cut, that's the travesty. That's what we keep trying to tell you guys till we're blue in the face. Is like when you do a $20 cut and you think you pocket $20, dude, you're pocketing $4. You know what I mean? Like it's
exactly. And I don't drop my gate on my trailer here for less than $55.
Sure.
I don't care if it's 2 passes with a push mower. It's going to be $55.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, "Oh, that's outrageous." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's fine too." But you don't understand what it's. A lot of customers. You got to be professional. And say, well, I understand. I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not the company for you. I understand.
Let somebody else
leave
do
it
it
at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let someone else do it. But I have a lot of customers say, "Why so much?"
Mm-hmm.
And then that's your opportunity to say, "Let me tell you why it costs so much.
Yes.
Let me break it down a little bit and give them a little bit of understanding why it costs that much." Say, all right, well, this costs this, this costs this, this costs this, and this is how we have to break it down. We have to pay him. He's cost, he's making $15 an hour, but he's costing me $27 an hour. And they're like, "Oh, wow. Now that you put it that way."
Right.
They're like, "But you're only going to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do my place." I'm like, "Well, no, not really."
Well, it cost me $40,000 to do it. It cost me $40,000 to do it in 10 minutes.
There's me and him here. Yeah, there's me and him here. So just between us alone, it's costing me, about $8 per person here. So,
sure.
That's just what's getting paid out. So you take that from my $55. Now you got to talk about the equipment I'm using. So then we got to take that. So I'm going to make about $20 off of you. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, wow. Okay. You're hired."
Oh, well, that's good though. That's good to know, man. Well, here we'll probably button this up here, man, because it's getting late. I know you still got to unload the trailer and clean up and all this mess. But I always try to end like these interviews with open mic, bro. So anything that you would like to leave the audience while we got you, or I always say like talking to like the Richey of 5 or 10 years ago. Any encouraging words or any defining things that you could leave these guys?
Don't give up. I mean, if you're just getting started, don't quit. Don't give up. I mean, we all go through times. Like I said earlier, you're going to cry. You're going to bleed. You're going to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be happy. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be on highs. You're going to be on lows. I mean, it does not matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just keep pushing. Just keep working towards your end goal. And it'll happen. I mean, did I think I was going to grow into what I am now? No, I had no idea this would ever happen. I never would have in my wildest dreams thought when someone says, "Hey, you're going to be making 6 figures a year cutting grass." I'd be like, "Yeah, okay."
Right.
In fact, it's kind of funny because I told my dad when I was like 14 and 8, I want to cut grass and make some extra money this summer. And he's like, "You can't make no money doing that." So now I'm like, "Hey, Dad, you remember when I was 14, you said I couldn't make money cutting grass?" He goes, "Yeah, you proved me wrong." I'm kind of proud of it.
Well,
I don't mean to brag, Dad, but I'm kind of proud too that I made it this far.
I love that, man.
Was I flying by the seat of my pants?
I love that, man.
That's what I did. I have to say, I flew by the seat of my pants. If you can avoid it, don't do that. Don't be afraid to grow slow.
Yep.
Don't go into debt. Because I'll be honest with you, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I went into debt to start my business.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest mistake I ever made. And for 2 or 3 years, I spent just getting out of that debt.
Mm-hmm.
If I had just slowed down and said, "You know what? Let's not go into debt. Let's just do it with what we've got and make it work." And I tell you, if I had, I would be making more money today than I am because I simply could have said, been debt free all those years.
Sure.
And that would have been more money that I put into the business and that I had to put back into paying a bill for something.
Yeah.
And, people say it all the time, "I'm a debt free company. Don't go into debt." I'm a prime example of, yes, I went into debt to start my business, and no, it is not the right thing to do.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I kind of lean more, if people listen to my podcast, they probably know that I don't mind leverage, but I think you got to figure out
leveraging debt. I'm sorry. When I say debt, I mean like everything's going back for your equipment.
Well, I think it just,
I say deep in debt.
it just means I feel like people just need to figure out what works best for them and their psyche, their personality, some people, man, taking on debt, they freak out, and some people taking on debt, no big deal. But I always agree. I think the silver lining there is get out of debt, like get out of debt as soon as you can. And be intelligent with it. If you know how to leverage, go for it, man. But don't be in bad debt, especially be responsible.
That was me. I was in bad debt for 2 or 3 years in business, and it took everything I had to get out of it, and I finally did.
There you go.
It just took some time. And I still got debt. I mean, it's hard to run a business without debt. There's going to be things that arise that
sure,
that you've got to sometimes. But I've been fortunate to have good coaching, and I think John Pajak, the day that he introduced me to learn your numbers, he was my very first person that taught me how to learn numbers.
Well, shout out to Pajak. He's a good dude.
Yeah. I love John Pajak. He's like a big cuddly teddy bear.
I tell you every time, man, he's the nicest guy you've ever met. He offers coaching.
Yeah.
A little shout out for John there.
That's what I heard.
I'll send him the invoice later, but he's one of those guys. He'll get behind the scenes with you with your numbers and open up your business, and sometimes you need that, and because that was a Bedell for me. I'm like, Bedell, I'm freaking working, man. I don't even feel like I'm making money. He's like, well, let's look at a few things. I kind of just showed him some numbers. He's like, oh no. He's like, we got some work to do. I'm like, because you don't want those conversations, because you already know you're messing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so if you already know you haven't been to the dentist in a year, don't put off going to the dentist, freaking schedule your thing, or else it's only gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
But a little shout out to Pajak and Pajak Coaching. If you guys don't know John Pajak, look him up on Instagram and Facebook. He's my yard book guru. So you got a question about yard book, go blow up his DMs. I'm sure he'll love that. So
hit him up. Everybody at one time just go hit it, right?
Yeah, everybody tag him and say, hey, but I'm sure he's gonna punch me when he sees me again. So, but anyway, well, dude, I appreciate you big time jumping on the podcast. We tried to button this up same day, which is really cool, and our calendars just didn't get aligned the last couple months, and I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while, and it's just really cool. And by the way, we just had 4th of July weekend and all that, and I'm very patriotic. I love this country, and so to guys like you that have served, and people have served, continue to serve, and will serve, I'm always very appreciative of that. So thank you for your service. Of course, wanted to be respectful and just say thanks for serving in the military, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Hey, I woke up July 5th, Sunday morning, and I gave one of those big arm pumps when I got up. Got all 10 fingers left this morning.
Hey, man. Hey, man. Well, I mean, up here in Michigan, it's been July 4th for about 40 days because, man, I swear everybody, in defiance of the COVID, defiance of our governor, I mean, people just being home. I mean, it's been fireworks for 2 months straight up here. And
you guys, I didn't envy you guys at all. I felt after you guys for a while. I was like, man, you guys are taking a beating up there.
Yeah.
Of course, here in Georgia, I think the governor activated the National Guard today.
Oh, yeah.
For the violence going on in Atlanta. So he was like, hey, it's time to patrol the streets and take them back. So I was like, whoa.
Wow.
It's getting serious. Unfortunately, I live in a small town, so, we don't see a whole lot of it. But, reading some of the stuff on the news, it's an eye-opener, man.
Yeah.
The stuff going on in the country. No matter what you believe in or what side you're on, I don't get political, but but no matter what side you're on, it's an eye opener for everybody.
Well, it's an election year, man. Really everybody loses their stuff during an election year. So, but
the only way we can make it better is if we all come together, right, and work together and help one another.
I do agree to that. I will cement that one with we need more conversation less. So this has been good, man. Well, I appreciate the time. What's that? One more time.
I said I enjoyed it, Brian. I appreciate you bringing me on. And like I said, it's been a couple months. We've tried putting this together, and every time we try, there's always a conflict with our schedule.
Well, you're always running around, man, jet setting. You're like, I'm in Miami. I'm over here. I'm going to New York. Or what? I'm just messing, bro. But I'm I want to be
It's a
Richey.
tough life,
I want to
you
be
know?
Richey Plemons for a day, you know. So this is good stuff. All right, we'll cackle all night, dude, if we don't lock this down. But hey, again, for all of you guys that are listening, if you guys want to send a DM on Instagram, let everybody let Richey know, show him some love that you guys are listening to it, and tell him that he did a great job. Shoot him a DM and say, Fullerton Unfiltered sent you, because we love that feedback. We love knowing that the stories and the Richey's story helps out, and he's just a really good dude. So, and if you guys haven't followed him on Instagram, Richey, what's your YouTube channel? Plug that for me, and then also your Instagram, and we'll wrap up.
On YouTube, it's just Plemons Lawn Care on YouTube. It's Plemons Lawn Care on Instagram, and it's Plemons Lawn and Landscape on Facebook. I don't have Twitter or I've got LinkedIn.
Well, and on Facebook, it's Richey Jessica Plemons, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. That's my personal page, Richey Jessica Plemons.
Well, and by the way, it's, tell your wife thank you for letting her or letting you do the show and be on here for an hour and a half while you and your guys are all going crazy and you're trying to get home and go get some grub. So we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up, man. So thanks so much to all you guys that are listening and leaving the ratings and reviews. We really appreciate you guys big time. And that's it, guys. We're over and out. We'll catch up with you on the next episode.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.